look at the 15 years from 2015. Just to absorb new entrants, the growth of the global labour force, we do need to create 470 million new jobs. Just pause and think what that means, 470 million in those 15 years. And that figure obviously goes up if you want to bring down levels of unemployment currently existing, and if you want also to make women's participation in the labour force at the levels that we would like to see. We have just over 200 million unemployed in the world today. That's 30 million more unemployed as a result of, or in the period since the crisis hit us. And despite, you know, the green buds, the green shoots that we're all looking for, including in the pages of The Economist, the fact of the matter is that global unemployment is still on an upward trend. We do need to look to a new set of development practices which look at the quality and not just the quantity of economic growth and development. We need to have something transformational put into the development mix. It is the quality of jobs that makes a big difference for development and for poverty reduction. And the ILO would say we need decent work, and it is precisely decent work which can bring a development dividend.
If you look at the relationship between growth in countries and the creation of jobs, it is very strong. And just to illustrate, a 1% increase in growth rates in a typical advanced economy will reduce unemployment by 0.25%, and that means about 1 million new jobs in the advanced economies. And that
So is this notion of jobless growth wrong?
Well, you know, at the macroeconomic level, there is no evidence of jobless growth. There is, I think you can have a question about the quality of jobs and the nature of the jobs, but there are jobs being generated by economic growth. Now, I'm not saying growth is a panacea for the jobs agenda, but it does solve about 3/4 of the problem.
This is actually fundamentally, at the end of the day, about values. What sort of values do we really want to apply to how we think about policy around development, around the economy, around how capitalism works, about how we solve problems, whether it's problems related to environmental sustainability, decent work, etc. This is not just about coming up with the smartest technocratic solutions to the issues. It's about digging deeper than that. And I think that also needs to be part of the whole post-2015 discussion.
What businesses would like and would stress for the longest time is that they need a conducive environment for them to conduct their business. And that often focuses on infrastructure and the regulatory frameworks that govern. In my own context, when we look at youth unemployment, most of the kids between 16 and 25 that are currently unemployed in Kenya cannot really be employed. They don't have any decent skills, the quality of the education was wanting. The match between the curriculum and the requirements of business is very, very distant, and we don't even have the frameworks for talking to each other to be able to determine the character of the curriculum.
Each time there is an accident or there are challenges within the world, the first port of call is the employee. Never mind those who would have been assumed to be in the wrong, say multinational corporations. But the first casualty is the ordinary person, the employee. And at most, governments are ordered in a way to do away with social protection flaws or social protection altogether. And we believe this is creating what in our world we call elastic societies, where the richer are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. And as a result, and according to my kindergarten teaching, elasticity will come to elastic limit, into plasticity, plastic limit, and snapping.
Without economic growth, without resilience, we will not create jobs of any kind. Just forget it. Don't say we can come up with some mystical scheme to create jobs. We can't. We need economic resilience to do that. We need to engage through the formal mechanisms that we have, the ILO and others, and strengthen those institutions so that countries implement active labour market policy. They implement the conventions that they've already signed up for at the governing body in Geneva. They absolutely must implement those conventions and do the right thing.
For me, the takeaway is that for the post-2015 agenda, I mean, the real challenge is going to be sustainable growth, because it's growth that leads to jobs, and we haven't had sustainable growth in the past, and if we can get sustainable growth at a high enough rate, then that will help create jobs. The other big issue is going to be education, educating people so they have the skills to thrive in the modern 21st century workplace. At the moment, too many people don't have that.